Hope Channel, changing lives.
And welcome to the premiere season of Real Talk for 2023. It's such a privilege to come into your homes once again. My name is Evie and I'm back in the studios of Hope TV Ghana, coming your way with Real Talk. We are going to have a real conversation for the adult youth, anybody out there that is interested in having great conversations. We are going to do that here in the studios at the table of Real Talk. As usual, we are back with yet another interesting story. Today's story is sad. I mean, this is not the first time we are going to talk about such a topic on Real Talk. We've done this over and over and over, but we keep getting the same stories again and again. So then I begin to ask myself, are we not learning? Are people taking other people's personal space for granted? Are people just going out there doing what they want regardless of what the other person says? And today's story, unfortunately, is on rape. I mean, you can go into your phones, Google your dictionaries and look for the meaning of rape. But one thing that stands out to me with regards to rape is that it's a form of sexual harassment or assault where penetration is involved. It could be sexual, the actual penetration, sex, vagina, or it could be any form of penetration. And in this case, this is done against someone's will when the person says no. I saw this interesting video on consent, and it was about tea. They used tea to describe consent. And a lady went to a man and she said, "I'll drink tea." And the man went in there, made the tea, and brought the tea. And then she took the cup. In fact, she took a sip. Then she said, "You know what? I don't want tea again." And the man was literally asking her to drink the tea because he's made the tea. So she has to finish the tea. And she said no. That is to say that at any point in time, a person can say no to sexual intercourse. It doesn't have to be, and I'm already in there, I'm already doing what I have to do, I've already started, why you are teasing me, why didn't you say no before, why you say no now? Anytime someone says no, you would have to stop. Whether you end up with blue balls or whatever it is you call it, you will have to stop. Because so many times, unfortunately, women are going through this and it's painful. That is not to say that men are also not facing rape or any form of sexual assault against them. But we will agree that it affects women more than men, probably because of the physical strength of both parties. And today we have a story in the studio to be discussed. But before I tell the story, I have amazing people in the studio with me and a beautiful one joining me virtually. Today we are going to have a good conversation because the people I have here, they don't mince their words. They say it as it is. They are not afraid to tell you the truth. They are not going to sugarcoat it and make it easy for you to swallow. You are going to swallow the pill as it is, whether it's bitter or sweet. I'll start with Jackie Asante Mensah, our resident lawyer, as I call her. And today I owe Jackie because she was on a long journey. She got home and she's here. I am the only person that can get her to do this. Jackie, thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I know your week has been tough.
Yes.
I have been chasing you, and finally you are here.
Yes,
you
I
know.
didn't have a choice. You didn't leave me with any choice.
Any choice. But thank you so much for coming.
welcome.
Thank you. As for Pastor, Pastor, no, I think I've been chasing you since what? October, November.
Yeah, I remember.
2022.
Yes.
And one thing, you see, I was telling you on WhatsApp that God works in mysterious ways. This had to happen this way.
Oh yeah.
See how Jackie all of a sudden has time today. And you also have time today.
That's if she, what, did she have time? Or she
Well,
just,
she
just
made time.
consented
She
to-
made time.
She did not even consent to it.
The consent you're talking about. Did you drink that tea, Jackie?
No, I didn't. It was forced down my throat.
Oh my goodness. That's just my name. Pastor, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, sure,
I know your week has been busy as well, the students here and there,
Yeah,
trying
you
to
can tell.
coach. Have you seen your tip on romantic relationships?
Yeah, I'm done with February.
Yay.
So we
So-
are back to
So
factory
much.
settings.
Oh, the love month is over.
Yes, so I've stopped. In every February, I give
Yeah.
28 tips
Right.
on how to express love.
Yeah. Next year will be 29 because
Yeah,
next year
next
is
year
a
I'll
leap
do
year.
29. Yes.
Thank you so much for coming. Jessica Teria is joining us all the way in the States, Atlanta. Jessica, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you all doing?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. How is the family? How is everybody there in Atlanta?
Everyone is wonderful, happy, and warming up. So we are all happy about that. So everything's good.
Ghana is very, very hot now. We wish we could have a little bit of your snow so that you guys will have a little bit of our heat.
Oh, no. You don't wish that. Trust me. It's too
Thank
much
you so much
sometimes,
for coming, Jessica.
Of course.
Okay, I'd like to remind you all that we are live on Facebook, Hope TV Ghana. You can stream the conversation live or even on YouTube as well. You can also send your stories to us to discuss. You can send it to us via our WhatsApp number or email address. And you can leave your comments under the comment section. Join the conversation and let's have a whole 360 conversation. I would do well to take your comments and read as we progress in the story. But let me just share the story with you. It says, "Dear Real Talk, I am filled with so much hatred and disdain for my ex-boyfriend. I didn't know I could hate someone so passionately. He hurts me so much. I am a final year student in the university and we dated for a little over 6 months when he did this to me. I went to visit him in his room after lectures one day as usual. He started getting too touchy for my liking, especially since I had made him aware I wanted to wait for a while before engaging in sexual intercourse. When he became uncomfortable, I told him no and to stop, but he wasn't listening. It got aggressive and I fought back. I did my best to fight him off, but he won and had his way with me at the end of the day. He raped me. After the ordeal, he acted as if I wanted it. I walked out of his room and never spoke to him again. A month later, I missed my period and found out I am pregnant. I am so hurt and disappointed. I haven't been able to tell anyone about the incident or the fact that I am pregnant. I really want to abort this pregnancy. I don't want to keep this child." You see, today's story got me thinking deeply because final year in the university, give or take, between the ages of 21 to 24, or maybe 25, depending on when she went to school. And she's hoping to come out, do her national service, get a job, work for some time, get married if that's what she wants, have children, and all that. And all these dreams and aspirations, to some extent, would have to be paused because children do need some attention. It takes 10 months to form a baby in your womb with all the medical bills and sometimes complications and sometimes just the labor it takes to raise a child. And this young lady didn't dream of this. This was not her dream. And this is the situation she has or she faces right now. And she wants to abort the child. And this is not, it's not politically correct. You hear people saying, "Oh my goodness, it's a sin and you don't know, you never have a baby." But emotionally, mentally, that is not what she's thinking about. All she's thinking is, I want to complete school, I want to get a job, I want my life to go back to as it was. But But before we go into all that nitty-gritty, Jackie, what is your general take on this story? When you read it, when you heard it right now, what came to mind? What are you thinking? I know you're probably upset and want to hurt somebody for doing this to a woman, but what is your general take on the story?
I mean, I was very disappointed and quite sad because this keeps happening over and over again.
You've been in the studio before and we've spoken about
yes, we've
a
spoken
similar
about
story.
this time without number, but it seems to be happening over and over again. And unfortunately, it's women and girls who are at the receiving end who are suffering the most. And you know how I'm passionate about women and girls. So it's I mean, I was very hurt to learn that this has happened again, especially to somebody who is in school, has her plans of what she wants to do in life. You know, she's doing something with her life.
Right.
And this happens to her, you know, at the point where she's about to graduate. That is, you know, a very important point in her life. So, I mean, I was quite unhappy about it, to be honest.
Before I move to Pastor and Jessica, and being a lawyer, looking at the rape culture in this country and the education we need, especially on consent. In fact, does the law speak on consent? What exactly is it? When somebody says no, is that it? Must the person shout no for it to be, I didn't give my consent, or just tears and frown? What exactly is that? And the rape culture in general, because we hear it.
Yes.
Fathers are doing it, brothers are doing it to sisters. Like, it's crazy.
Yes. So, for consent, with the example that you gave, you know, really helps. Somebody can say yes to sexual intercourse with you, but if at any point during penetration, before penetration, you know, the person says, I don't want it anymore, stop. From that point, the consent is withdrawn. So you have to stop. You have to stop. It doesn't matter what the person said before, what the person did before, even if it was the person that enticed you. Once at a certain point, the person says, I don't want this anymore, stop. You have to stop. The person does not have to say it 3 times, 4 times, scream, struggle with you before it becomes proper consent. Once the person says, you know, I don't want to do this anymore, it should stop.
Should stop.
And when it comes to children or people under the age of 16, even if they give their consent, it is not considered as consent. It is null and void because they are children.
And they can't give consent.
Yes, they are not, they can't think on their own. They can't make proper decisions. So if a child gives consent to any sexual activity, it's not going to be considered as consent.
Wow. Right.
Yes.
But Jackie, must the person open their mouth and say no? Is there any other form that will show that the person is withdrawing consent? Is it a shake of head? Is it non-verbal? Or must the person say, no, I don't want this, for it to be considered as consent?
Not necessarily. The person can push you off, you know, off here, you know, that I don't want this anymore. The person is struggling with you, that I don't want this. The person is pushing you away. All that, you know, is part of consent, because maybe the person might be in shock and so might not be able to properly articulate what she wants to say. So struggling with you, trying to push you off, you know, stop it, I don't want to do this, you know, all that is consent. Withdrawal of consent. So
Thank you so much. Pastor, this is literally in your alley. These are your students. You talk to them every day. 22 years. That is somebody in your class. That is somebody asking you questions every day. And it is just sad that you find out one of your students is going through this. And I'll take your general take on the story and also the rape culture. You know, you work with the university students. Do you hear these things? Do the men know what it means when a woman says no? Do the women know what it means when a guy says no? Or you think we have more education to do?
Well, my general take first. I am generally passionate about issues that border on abuse. I feel that everybody needs his or her space,
Yes.
and that we should not invade people's spaces. And so all forms of abuse, I hate it with passion. And every time I'm talking about abuse, sometimes I'm likely to even go over and say things and all that. And so when I saw it, I was angry and sad at the same time. But then I also know that it is not the first of its kind. I have heard such cases over and over and over. And that is where the problem is. The fact that it keeps repeating over and over and over and over is the problem. And that's where the next part of your question, do we need to keep on educating? Yes, we need to. Because we have done this over and over and over again, yet it keeps happening. A lot of men rape a lot of women. Of course, our laws would not say that a woman has raped a man, even though there may be instances where a woman may forcefully engage a man in sex, but our law may not see it as rape. But there are instances like that. So the point is that people need to know that if I am with somebody and the person says, no, I don't want this, we need to respect that and ensure that, even if I'm supposed to, let's say the person is working under me and the person is supposed to do something, the person says, no, I don't want to do it, whether sexual or physical or work related, we should respect that. All I can do is, okay, once you don't do this, then it means that I let go. Exactly. You can't force people to do some things that they don't want to do. It is inhuman to do that. And so these are the things that make me angry about issues of abuse. And when it is rape, when it is sexual, then it gets me more angry, because you are penetrating the person. And in this case, it's penovaginal penetration. And that is serious. Because he may argue that, oh, she's my girlfriend. And so what? It is her body. She decides to allow what goes into her body. And so you are pushing a part of your body into a part of her body without her consent, and that is serious. And these are the reasons for which I get, angry and all that. But I think that a lot of people, including, the ladies, may not even understand these elements of consent that the lawyers, that, for some people, the assumption is that you are my girlfriend. And the fact that you agree to be my girlfriend, you have given a forever consent.
Oh my goodness. Even
and it's a reason for marital rape. Because the thing is that once you are my wife,